Hello, everybody! Sorry, I put my hand right in front of Megan's face. We're welcoming you back to another Sunday Funday, and hey, we went to see, obviously, the only thing that came out this weekend, which of course was Ready Player One, which is a movie that a lot of people are really looking forward to. It's like, oh, the book's just best thing ever. I was dreading because, one, the early reviews for this were not the greatest. Not that I take a ton of stock into critics' reviews, because this is not a critic movie by any stretch of the imagination. Two, also, I wasn't a big fan of the book. Mind you, I wasn't able to finish the book, but it's only because of my own personal issues with its writing at times. I will try to finish it now, though, after watching this film. Just so that way I can think, okay, did they leave anything out? I'm pretty sure they did, and they changed certain things. But hey, we weren't going to worry about that. We were going to worry about only what was in front of us. So, we'll always start it off with the beautiful Megan, and we'll let her tell us what she thought about Ready Player One. Megan liked this.
I really like this. This was just, like, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, this was fun to watch.
I think even if you didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s, I think some of the references you probably wouldn't get. Just real quick shorthand for anybody who has not read the book or know anything about this. Ready Player One is, in basic, it's about a rich, multi-trillionaire in all essence, dies, and he leaves an Easter egg in this massive MMO. Like, it makes World of Warcraft look like nothing, because everybody plays this game, and it's a game called the Oasis. Pretty much think of, like, in-depth virtual reality. What every 90s show or movie thought virtual reality was. This one makes it kind of cool and makes it sense of it. It's like,
I want this to be an actual thing.
Yeah, like, this would be a cool thing if it was real.
Yeah, I was like, nobody would ever see me ever again except in virtual reality.
Yeah. But this, pretty much the book and the movie, they're about, this one kid, we follow him, his name is Wade Watts, and it's his journey through trying to figure out this one multi-trillionaire who died and left behind an Easter egg which supposedly will let anybody control the Oasis, which is actually kind of a neat thing, and that's how the story goes. I know that's how the book begins, I know that's how this movie begins, and just to let y'all know, this is leagues better than what I read in the book. Mind you, I got 50 pages in, and I was like, nah, I can't, no. The book, I think, suffered from the point that there were pop culture references and everything, but it was just there to be there. Here, they're there, but they always feel, if they're being brought up, there's something that's either important to the story, or they feel like at least a decent wink and a nod. Mind you, there's more than even Cabin in the Woods in terms of just pure references. In Cabin in the Woods, those who have never seen it, it's a fantastic horror movie. It really plays on a lot of things that I enjoy so much. But also, that had a lot of references to horror movies. Ready Player One references horror movies, video games, not just 80s and 90s, which I actually liked. I mean, there's Master Chiefs at point. There's the fucking dude from StarCraft 2, if you know he's also from StarCraft, but everybody knows the big power armor more from StarCraft 2 than anything. I can't remember his name, sorry. Never played StarCraft 2. Couldn't get through StarCraft 1. There's
Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, there's a Mechagodzilla. There's an Iron Giant, of course. There's the RX-78 Gundam.
I say, for nerds like him, there's Mechagodzilla and Gundam. I'm pretty sure his inner fanboy, like, pissed himself.
Yeah, those who want just pure pop culture, ephemera? Ephemeralia? I don't know, I'm sorry.
Nostalgia.
No, not nostalgia, but it's actually like something that you can almost actually physically hold. Pretty much, those who love this kind of stuff, you're going to just shit yourself with happiness. Those of us who love that stuff but still want a good story, you're going to shit yourself with happiness, because this actually has a pretty damn good story. we're going to probably not spoil it, not like I did with Pacific Rim Uprising, because this was a really good movie. You have really good acting from Wade Watts and also this other young lady. Her name is Artemis. Mm-hmm. Those who've read the book know her name. There's also H, though it's spelled Aech, who is just pretty much what you would think of as a good side character. She has one-liners, but they never feel like they detract from the story.
Yeah, it's a bit of a spoiler. H is actually
female.
Actually, chick.
But I kind of figured that from the beginning. Sorry, y'all, if I kind of spoiled it a little bit. But those who've read the book,
voice like a little bit deep.
Yeah, I was like, that seems almost like that.
Like a woman trying to be a man.
Mm-hmm. Then there's also the two other characters kind of end up. They're part of this group called this like clan, as they call it, the High Five. Shinto and Shu? Daito.
And Sho.
Yeah. They're probably the least developed out of them, but they're still the actors that do good with what they're supposed to be.
I would say they still are fun. Like, 11-year-old.
Yeah, he's hilarious, actually.
It's like, oh, you want me to put, I'm 11 years old, take me out immediately? It's like,
all right. Good on you, kid.
That's it. That'd be his kid right there. It's like,
little
smart ass.
But yeah, this movie, it actually, like I said, it actually is a good story, which is surprising because I was expecting this just to be pretty much pop culture references. And there's a lot, but they make sense and they don't detract. They always feel like they're an addition to it, which is something kind of amazing. It's the thing that Wreck-It Ralph didn't understand. Like, I like Wreck-It Ralph. I think it's nowhere near as good as people pretend. Especially considering, like, half the damn movie is all focused on that fucking Sugar Rush game that I do not give a shit about because it's Sarah Silverman. And also, it doesn't help that Wreck-It Ralph has that, like, brief bit at the beginning where there's a few, like, different video game characters. There's Bowser's, Zangief, I want to say Dr. Robotnik's there, some of the ghosts from Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that has a little bit, and it's like, oh, it's a nice little wink and nod, and there's a few little cartoon or video game characters afterwards. This movie goes, isn't that cute? You're adorable. Because any property Warner Brothers can get their hands on, they have gotten their hands on, and they have shoved it into this movie in a way that feels natural. Like,
yeah, it actually makes sense. Like, this generation in the future have become obsessed when, like,
nostalgia.
Yeah, this 80s and 90s culture. Well, also like a little bit 70s too, but mostly 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I think partially because it's what their generation's into, and like kind of like how 80s and 90s are making a comeback now.
Not only that, but it kind of plays upon the fact that a lot of generations or future generations don't seem to be making as strong of an impact. Like, let's think about just pure musically. Like, in the 2000s, can you think of any music group that really had that, Nirvana impact? Like, Nirvana, like, let's just think about it that way. Like, Nirvana changed music for nearly 10 years.
Our whole, like, music movement.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's like...
Like, I'm not particularly a fan of Nirvana, but even I will give them that.
Yeah, like, you can hate Nirvana all you want, but they still did change music for a good chunk of time. It would be one thing for it to be like a Black Eyed Peas, who they existed, and they were good when they were good, but when they were bad, they were really bad.
Yeah.
And I can just tell you, nobody really gives a shit anymore about Black Eyed Peas. Nobody even brings them up. Nobody even talks about them. One, they're broken up, but two, they didn't have as strong of an impact. And I think that's the reason why they kind of reference this whole like generation that's coming up, this particular one that's kind of focused on as the lost generation.
Yeah.
Which
they're all like in the Oasis.
Yeah, and not only that, but also has a leaning into the fact it's like, oh, well, they're lost within themselves, or they're lost and they don't have this for anything to push them forward. In a way, I don't know. I'm not making
so that they're like lost in this virtual reality, and how like we're more and more like losing touch with reality, and general people.
I was meaning more in the fact that they are lost within nothing. It's like,
Well,
there's that, but it's a dual symbolism is the thing.
I know. I'm adding on to what
You're repeating what you said.
I'm adding on to what you said.
Well, actually, what I'm speaking of more deals with the fact that they, like I said, they just are lost. There's nothing there. They are nothing.
But so anyway, yeah. Speaking of music, I will say this movie had awesome soundtrack.
Yeah, if you are like me and you absolutely love the just 80s bomb of Transformers the movie, which let's just admit it, everybody, it's the best fucking soundtrack for the entire 80s, possibly the entire first 100 years of any film. Sorry, it's just awesome. This movie is a just time bomb of music in a good way. It pulls the best songs. Somehow it makes a Bee Gees tune that's incredibly dated even to this day fit and work in ways that it should never work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got Van Halen, you got like a little bit Twisted Sister, and it's just all this it works.
Yeah, it's kind of odd how it just works so well. It's like, this shouldn't... And here's the thing, this shouldn't work at all. This should be just this mush of too many ideas, too many cooks in the kitchen. It shouldn't work. But because you have one of the best directors of all time behind the thing, sorry, you can hate Steven Spielberg all you want. But one, this man knows how to point a camera. Because even, let's just admit it, most of his movies technically animated. But
yeah,
that is everything. This is a gorgeous to look at movie. Like,
yes. If nothing else, it's pretty.
Yeah, like comparing it to Pacific Rim and this, or Pacific Rim Uprising, it's like going from eating the trash out of the back of a McDonald's to being taken and sat at one of Gordon Ramsay's top kitchens and him cooking a meal for you. You watch him slice every little piece of meat and everything. It's like, oh my God, what was I doing with my life? It's a beautiful movie to see it CGI-wise and also the camera work. Again, Steven Spielberg is a really good director because only a really good director could make the CGI feel as still realistic. Like, everything still felt appropriate amount of weightiness, appropriate amount of lightness because it's a video game. And that was another thing I was enjoying, that most of the stuff whenever it's taking place, because movie actually is about 50% real, 50% video game.
Yeah.
The video game stuff was almost essentially nothing but CGI.
Mm-hmm.
The real life stuff was mostly real life stuff. There's a bit of CGI here and there, but it was used sparingly, which I enjoyed. I was like, oh, it's a neat little parallel to make. That's something that a film nerd like me, I've noticed. But again, it helps that we got some really good directing here and there. It's like, oh, Steven, you still have it. You still have it. Thank you.
Yeah, the actors, I don't think did too bad. Especially Miles Teller.
Miles Teller? He wasn't in this movie.
Or what? That one guy looks like who the fuck is that guy?
The guy who played Wade?
Yeah, who was that?
Or Waits? I gotta look it up for Megan.
I could have sworn that was Miles Teller.
His name is Ty Sheridan. It's Percival. He was Scott Summers in X-Men Apocalypse. That's where you know him from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also, how do you pronounce his name? I gotta look it up. Ben Mendelsohn is back to be just a twirly evil bad guy. Those who are surprised by this are just people who I guess did not watch the trailer, even I knew he was the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually kind of fun seeing him as a bad guy because in Rogue One, he was kind of so pathetic, I kind of almost felt sorry for him. Here, he's very obviously evil, but it fits. It shouldn't work. It should be too obvious of a bad guy and too stupid of a bad guy, but it fits as a character. It fits as this world, how it has kind of been built. So, I don't know. It's really an interesting thing to watch. You're just like, oh, so he's obviously evil, but I'm kind of enjoying him. He chews some major scenes. Hi. But I can't help it. I jazzed throughout this entire movie the whole time.
Yeah, it's somehow this all works, and I think the 80s and 90s nostalgia was also believable because these kids, they were all obsessed with the game's creator, who himself was obsessed with 80s and 90s and them trying to find out everything they can about him to get these clues to find these keys.
Yeah, unlock this Easter egg because pretty much it's worth $500 billion worth of stuff, and it's like, oh okay, yikes. Even in, I think this takes place in 2045 is what they said.
2045.
Yeah, I mean, even in 20 years, there's no way that $500 billion is not oh, that's only $500,000 nowadays. So inflation hit hard.
Yeah, especially in areas where you have these, as you've seen probably in the trailers, the trailers actually,
the stacks as they call them.
Yeah, all these trailers stacked on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no real way to go but up.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is a really damn good movie. It is so much better than it has any right to be. Not to criticize it in any way. And it feels hard. I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, what did I not like about this movie? The only thing I can maybe say is the second act, it's a little long in the tooth. Because this is a nearly 2.5 hour long movie, so the second act's probably your biggest act. It kind of feels like it almost teeters on the edge of being a little too long. But right whenever it begins that feeling, boom, we get the third act, which just blows your dick in the dirt. Well, if you have a vagina, sorry, your vagina got blown in dirt too. She loves my stupid similes.
The hell am I marrying?
You're marrying a weirdo, is what you're marrying.
You don't say.
You don't say. I don't do that, she'll spew everywhere.
I was gonna say, what is the number one rule?
Say funny shit while Megan's drinking so everybody can see it come out your nose. It's a long rule, but I can't help it, folks.
I'm gonna dump this drink on you.
I'm gonna be all wet and sticky. She might finish giggling by the end of the review.
I was like, I'm trying to take a drink here.
But yeah, like I said, that's the biggest complaint I can say is the second act's a little long in the tooth. And maybe it's slightly contrived at some points, but to think that way you have to be somebody who's going to nitpick the ever-living shit out of this. You have to be somebody who hates the idea of nostalgia. Hates the idea of trying to just enjoy yourself. Because, I mean, what other movie are you going to have where a weapon of choice is Chucky and he throws at somebody, some guy just goes, "It's fucking Chucky!" And it just murderizes 30 people in span of 5 seconds.
Trevor's like, I want to play that game.
Yes, I want to play this game. I want this game to be real. I want this yesterday. Yeah, this is a hell of a lot of fun. You cannot go wrong going to see this. And we'll go ahead and also say one other thing. This is actually a movie we're seeing in 3D. Yes,
it does actually add to it, I think.
Yeah, IMAX 3D is actually really the way to go. This is a gorgeous looking movie. But more, if you have a little bit of the IMAX kind of makes you feel a little nauseous, Warner's movie's gonna induce that at times. Thankfully, it's not all the time. But whenever it's kicking it into overdrive, and you're, or there'll be a lot of times you're gonna, I'm just gonna oh my god, what's that?
During the race, everybody's crashing.
It's hey!
So it's flying at you don't hit me, leave me alone. It's I'm not part of this.
Yeah, this is one of the few movies I will just tell people, go see in 3D, go see in IMAX.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah, this is well worth the ticket price, and yeah, it's worth the ticket price just seeing it. Period.
Yeah, I think when it comes out, actually on Blu-ray, I think it's gonna be right to see who's gonna get it first.
Well, I'm awesome, so. So, what about scores? Because I think, is there more you want to say about it? Because I'm afraid if we'll keep talking about it, we're going to start spoiling it.
No, I just want to say that's awesome.
Yeah, you will enjoy yourself. Your kids might not get it 100%. I would say like teenagers up, and you should go see it. Because I think little kids, they're not going to get all the references. There's a lot of references. In fact, I want to watch this movie slower. Just catch all the different things, write them down. Or I want Cecil from Good Bad Flicks to do another thing, so like he did with Cabin in the Woods, where he mentioned all the little nods and links towards our horror movies and horror franchises. Like, oh, here, do it with this film. He'll probably go, fuck. So, what do you give this as a score? In terms of a film?
Well, it is a rarity for us. But I'm going to give it a 10. I can't really find fault with it.
This one character said their one sentence with a preposition. It's like a 5.5. No,
I mean, like, there's a couple, like, little minor characters, like, I could almost do without. It's like, they don't really take away from my overall enjoyment. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's fucking perfect. In fact, I think we were both kind of thinking that the movie was going to be kind of cheesy. A little bit of nostalgia. I never got that, really.
Yeah, I got a movie that enjoyed its nostalgia, but it never detracted from the main story, which was the best positive thing I can say. It's like, you have so much nostalgia, but it's not about the nostalgia. It's about the characters.
I mean, not that we would have minded cheesy nostalgia, but it's like, this just made it
so much better.
Yeah, it's nostalgia with a purpose.
Mm-hmm. And I'll agree with Megan. It's a 10. It's well worth every penny of it.
Go see it in theaters. Go see it in 3D.
Yeah, it's actually
it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's like it really adds to it. It really enhances your experience, I think.
Yeah, that's the one thing, because most 3D kind of distracts. This actually feels like you're more in it. Again, I will say it's like human scenes, like it doesn't have as much, but it looks beautiful. Like, this movie always looks gorgeous.
Yeah, so. It's like, yeah, even in the real world, or like it still looks pretty. I mean, not as pretty as the Oasis, where everything's like shiny and everything, but it's still a good looking film.
Yeah. And if you hate this, you must also hate puppies.
I would say soulless bastards.
Mm-hmm. Well, since it is the end of the month, yes, I know technically it's the first of April. Fuck you, I don't care. It's not the end of the month yet. We haven't done our final review till now. We're going to talk about the movies that we're going to see next month in all of April, which they're exactly what you're going to pretty much think. Except for the first weekend, it's up in the air. It's going to depend. Most likely, we're going to try and see A Quiet Place. We're both kind of looking forward to it. I am really looking forward to it because it looks just creepy as shit, and like it's going to just have me doing this the entire time.
I was like, I am really curious. Like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Why do they have to be quiet? It's like, what is these things that are like after them?
How are these aliens or monsters or whatever? How are they able to hear everything? I don't know. I'm curious of it. It's something that's like, If not, we're also going to see blockers. I know cock blockers is going to be terrible. I know it's probably going to be just gross out humor as can be.
Like with the beer scene.
Yeah, ass chugging. But it's John Cena doing gross out humor. I don't think I could ask for much more as a person who kind of grew up and, had to put up with John Cena being kind of,
goofy.
John Cena in wrestling.
Yeah.
Can't see him, So I want to know, how were they even able to tell him that he needs to chug the beer up his ass? I can't see him.
I was like, dude, you are a tree. We see you.
What? He's a tree?
He's a tree. He's kind of a big, tall bastard, and he's very muscly, too.
Well, he's actually not as tall as you would think. He's like, I think, just about 6 foot tall. He's not like freaking Braun Strowman, who's like nearly 7 foot tall, if I'm not mistaken. He's also like built like a...
I was saying, it was like the build alone, all that muscle is like, yeah, we see you.
It's a joke they had. Not a Bryce joke by John Cena, but hey, it's John Cena. I don't know what the hell that is. The 13th, it's going to be Rampage. I was curious about Truth or Dare, and originally we were going to on the 20th because Rampage was still going to come out then. We were going to have a dual screening for sure, and that was going to be Super Troopers 2 and Rampage because I'm curious about both of them.
Yeah, still got to show me the first movie.
Rampage doesn't have a sequel or prequel. I know, I got a mess with you. Yeah, originally we were going to see Truth or Dare. I'm somewhat curious, even though I think it does look kind of like it's going to be a piece of shit, but at least the premise sounds interesting. And just, I don't know, big. But yeah, we're going to see Rampage. If I can squeeze in Truth or Dare as well, I'll try to, but don't hold your breath, people. I'm sorry. And then, of course, 20th, Super Troopers 2. We're going to go see it. We're going to love it. Or at least I'm going to probably love it. Unless it's a Pacific Rim uprising, you're just going to see my feet hanging like this. These are dark.
Let's see.
And I don't know about the 27th. I don't know what we can go. It's Avengers. We're going to go see Avengers. I mean, do we even have to add or say anything? It's like, we're going to go see Avengers. Unless it's fucking Justice League, which is just a boring mess of a movie. Avengers is going to be our shit. Don't be surprised if we love that one too. We'll try to be critics, and I will try to keep the squealing to a minimum, but it's going to be hard when I see Captain America and Thanos fighting each other at times.
Yeah, not only the Avengers, but like Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther, like all these superheroes, like all teaming out together. It's like, like nerdgasm.
Probably be like, movie. Which watch we go? The movie's 3.5 hours long. All right, get some popcorn. Gotta make it through this shit.
Anybody need to go pee before we get into the theater?
I got a bottle with me. But yeah, that's Ready Player One, and also what we're going to be seeing next week. Go see Ready Player One. It's well worth it. And really, I don't think next week's going to have enough of a strong one. Ready Player One's probably going to be number one again. Nothing against Quiet Place. It might be fantastic. I'm going to see it.
Yeah, just probably not as good as Ready Player One.
Yeah. Or it might just be too limited of an appeal. Sort of like Annihilation was. Like Annihilation I really loved, but I get why nobody did like it. Except for assholes like me. Oh, so that's it. Till then, we'll go ahead and say bye-bye in the house. So bye-bye, everybody.
Game over.
I guess you use your one.